Hi, my name is Pamela, and I'm happy to present this video on parenting and how I was raised, what I think about it, and how I raised my own children. I actually was raised in an African home, and in an African home, the parents runs the show. They can be permissive to a certain extent, but I can say 90% it was an authoritarian parenting. And to be honest with you, I'm not complaining about it. I don't think they were cruel. I don't think they were abusive. I just think they were protective. We were very protected. My dad had a lot of girls. He had 4 daughters, and he was very protective. He didn't want us to be out, late. We had curfews. You had to be home by a certain time. We didn't go for sleepovers, like just random sleepovers. The only places we would really go was to our aunt's places or our uncle's places, but not just random sleepovers at friends' places. It wasn't allowed. And we couldn't talk back to our parents. We were just supposed to obey. They knew better, which I think, yeah, they did. So you couldn't argue with them. You could say your opinion, but in a very polite way. But if they say it's a no, and you're not going to argue. My mom would spank you. She didn't have any time to negotiate things. If you were not getting it, she would just spank you. My dad was not the spanker. I think I was only spanked by my dad once. He would really sit down with you. He was mostly good with communication. He would sit down with you and try to talk things over. But even though at the end you just knew that, whatever they say goes, because that's how our culture is and that's how it was. I really think to a certain extent it's good because it protected us from a lot of things. We didn't involve ourselves in things like drugs. I don't even know what clubbing is. I never went to clubs. And even now when I grow up, I've seen what clubs are. I don't even care about it. I'm like, wow, thank God I was protected from those kind of things. I didn't drink. I never grew up drinking. We're very protected from things like drinking alcohol. And I don't regret it. I'm so thankful that I was never taught to drink alcohol at a young age, because now I see a lot of people struggling with addiction and sicknesses coming from things like that. We were very protected, and I think it's good. There was no drugs going on around our community when I was growing up. There was no drugs, there was no shooting, there was no, all this kind of craziness, because our parents were really, really tough. They wanted us to do well. They were trying to bring us in the straight and narrow, which I really appreciate. Now that I'm grown up, I look back and I was like, wow, it wasn't so bad. Even though when we were younger, we thought, this is cruel, they should give us a little room, but I really appreciate. I think for me, raising my 2 girls, I was both an authoritarian parent and a permissive parent. I got that authoritarian parenting from my parents. So whatever your parents teach you is mostly what you just carry in you. That's all you know. So I know, like when they were younger, I was very, very authoritative. But as they grew older, and as I grew older too, and I started to learn that, it's always good to hear their side of the story, to hear their opinion, especially when we moved here to the United States, I started to be more permissive, talking to them, asking their opinion, and they could come to me and say things, even though I know that, initially I was very authoritative. I hope that really helps to answer the question, and I will send my references when I attach my video. Thank you.